What if I told you that the biggest difference between ordinary people and extraordinary people isn't talent, it isn't intelligence, and it certainly isn't luck? Imagine waking up every morning with absolute clarity. No procrastination, no excuses, no endless waiting for motivation. Just quiet discipline. The kind that transforms your life one small decision at a time. Japan has become one of the most respected nations in the world, not because its people are born different, but because they follow a way of thinking that most of the world completely ignores. A code so simple, yet so powerful, that if you practiced it for just the next 30 days, you might never look at success the same way again. So before you dismiss this as another motivational speech, ask yourself one question. What if the life you've always wanted is hiding behind the habits you've always avoided? Let's begin. Introduction. When people think about Japan, they often think of advanced technology, clean cities, bullet trains, or remarkable innovation. But beneath all of these achievements lies something much deeper. A mindset, a quiet philosophy, a way of living that values consistency over intensity, patience over shortcuts, and discipline over motivation. The most successful people are rarely the most talented. They are often the ones who continue moving forward long after everyone else has stopped. This audiobook isn't about becoming perfect. It isn't about changing your life overnight. It's about discovering a set of timeless principles that can reshape the way you think, work, and live. Over the next few chapters, you'll uncover practical ideas inspired by the spirit of Japanese discipline, ideas you can begin applying today. And if you commit to them for the next 30 days, you may notice something extraordinary. Not because your circumstances suddenly change, but because you do. Let's begin with the first principle, Chapter 1, the first Japanese code. Master the small before you chase the big. There is a quiet saying that has shaped generations of people, yet very few outside Japan truly understand its power. Great lives are not built by great moments. They are built by small moments, repeated consistently. Most people wake up every morning believing that one big decision will change everything. A new job, a new business, a new year, a new motivation. They keep waiting for a dramatic turning point. But life rarely changes that way. Imagine watching a master craftsman in Japan. He doesn't rush. He doesn't try to finish his work as quickly as possible. Every movement is slow, intentional, precise. To someone watching for the first time, it almost seems too slow. But when the work is finished, the result is extraordinary. The difference wasn't talent. The difference was patience. This is where most people fail. They underestimate the power of small improvements. They believe that reading one chapter won't matter, that exercising for 20 minutes won't matter, that waking up 30 minutes earlier won't matter. But success never asks whether today's action is impressive. It asks one question. Can you repeat it tomorrow? Think about a drop of water falling onto a stone. One drop changes nothing. 100 drops seem meaningless. 1,000 drops still appear insignificant. But over months and years, even solid rock begins to change. Not because the water was powerful, because it never stopped. Your habits work exactly the same way. Every small action is another drop. Every disciplined decision quietly shapes the person you are becoming. This is why Japanese culture places so much value on consistency. Not because consistency feels exciting, but because consistency produces results long after motivation disappears. Ask yourself this simple question. What is one small action you could repeat every day for the next 30 days? Not something difficult, not something impressive. Something so simple that you have no excuse to skip it. Maybe reading 10 pages, writing 1 page in a journal, walking for 20 minutes, meditating for 5 minutes, practicing one skill for half an hour. None of these actions will transform your life today, but together, they begin transforming your identity. And that is the real goal. Because lasting success is never built by chasing motivation. It is built by becoming the kind of person who keeps showing up, especially on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Remember, anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Very few people continue when the excitement fades. And those few people are usually the ones the world later calls successful. So don't ask yourself, how can I change my life this month? Ask instead, what small promise can I keep to myself today? Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen something far more valuable than discipline. You strengthen trust in yourself. And once you begin trusting yourself, everything else becomes possible. But building small habits is only the beginning. There is another Japanese principle that quietly separates people who dream from people who actually transform their lives. Chapter 2 begins. Chapter 2. The silent power of consistency. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move forward every single year, while others remain in exactly the same place? The answer is rarely intelligence. It is rarely talent. And it is almost never luck. The difference often lies in one invisible habit: consistency. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a single week, but they completely underestimate what they can achieve in a single year. Think about a bamboo tree. For years after it is planted, nothing impressive seems to happen. There are no tall branches, no remarkable growth. To an impatient observer, it looks like failure. Many people would stop watering it. Many would assume the seed was useless. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary is happening. The roots are spreading deeper into the ground. They are building a foundation strong enough to support future growth. Then one day, the bamboo suddenly begins rising at an incredible speed. People who only notice the final result call it an overnight success. But it was never overnight. It was years of invisible preparation. Your own life works exactly the same way. Every page you read, every workout you finish, every difficult conversation you face with courage, every promise you keep to yourself becomes another root beneath the surface. The world may not notice it today. Sometimes even you won't notice it. But growth is still taking place. This is where most people make their biggest mistake. They become addicted to immediate results. If they don't see progress after 1 week, they quit. If they don't lose weight after 2 weeks, they quit. If their business doesn't grow after 1 month, they quit. If their YouTube channel doesn't become successful after a few uploads, they quit. But the Japanese philosophy of discipline teaches something very different. Fall in love with the process, not the applause, because applause comes after the work, not before it. Imagine a swordsmith forging a traditional Japanese sword. He doesn't rush because he wants to finish quickly. He understands that every layer of steel, every strike of the hammer, every moment inside the fire makes the blade stronger. If he skips the difficult parts, the sword may look beautiful, but it will break when it is tested. Life tests people in exactly the same way. Pressure reveals preparation. Discipline is what keeps you moving when excitement disappears. And here's the truth that many people never hear. The goal of discipline is not to make life harder. The goal is to make difficult things become normal. The first time you wake up early, it feels uncomfortable. The 10th time, it becomes easier. The 100th time, it becomes part of your identity. That is the real transformation. You are no longer forcing yourself. You have become the kind of person who naturally does what once felt impossible. So stop asking, how long will it take? Start asking, who am I becoming while I wait? Because success is not simply reaching a destination. Success is becoming a person who is capable of creating success again and again. Every disciplined day writes another sentence in the story of your future. Every excuse deletes one. The choice is yours. But consistency alone is not enough. There is another hidden habit practiced by people who achieve lasting success. It has nothing to do with working harder, and everything to do with how they respond to failure. Chapter 3 begins. Chapter 3: The Japanese Rule of Continuous Improvement. There is a quiet philosophy that has shaped Japanese craftsmanship, business, education, and even daily life for generations. It is built on one simple belief: never become satisfied with who you were yesterday. Not because you are never enough, but because every day gives you another opportunity to become slightly better. In today's world, people are obsessed with dramatic transformations. Lose 20 kilograms, become a millionaire, master a new skill in 30 days. Everything must happen quickly. Everything must happen now. But the Japanese way teaches something completely different. Instead of chasing massive change, they focus on tiny improvements that never stop. Imagine an artist painting the same mountain every morning. To someone watching from the outside, it looks repetitive, almost boring. But the artist notices details no one else can see. The way the light changes, the movement of the clouds, the texture of the rocks. Every day the painting becomes just a little better than the one before. That is mastery, not perfection, progress. Most people fail because they expect success to arrive before improvement. But improvement always comes first. Success simply follows. Think about learning a new language. On the first day, you know almost nothing. The second day, only a few more words. After 1 week, the progress feels invisible. After 1 month, you begin understanding simple conversations. After 1 year, people wonder how you became so fluent. They never saw the ordinary days, the mornings when you practiced despite feeling tired, the evenings when you reviewed vocabulary instead of wasting another hour scrolling through your phone. Great results are almost always invisible while they are being created. That is why patience is one of the strongest forms of discipline. Patience does not mean waiting without action. It means continuing to act, even when the reward has not yet arrived. Now ask yourself an honest question. How many dreams have you abandoned? Not because they were impossible, but because they were taking longer than you expected. Many people quit just before the breakthrough, not because they lack ability, because they lose belief. The Japanese discipline code reminds us that improvement is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. There is always another page to read, another skill to practice, another mistake to learn from. another opportunity to become wiser than yesterday. The moment you believe you have nothing left to learn, your growth quietly comes to an end. The strongest people remain students for life, no matter how successful they become, no matter how experienced they appear. They stay curious, they ask questions, they observe, they listen, because they understand something that many people forget. Knowledge creates opportunity, but humility keeps that opportunity alive. Imagine two workers joining the same company on the same day. One believes he already knows enough. He stops learning after a few months. The other spends just 20 minutes every day improving one small skill. 1 year later, the difference is remarkable. Not because one person worked harder, but because one person kept growing while the other stopped. This principle applies to every part of life. Your health, your relationships, your career, your confidence, your mindset. None of them improve by accident. They improve through small decisions repeated consistently. So instead of asking, how can I become extraordinary? Ask yourself, what can I improve by just 1% today? One better decision, one better conversation, one better habit, one better hour. These tiny improvements may seem insignificant today, but over time, they create a version of you that your past self would barely recognize. Remember, the goal is not to wake up one morning as a completely different person. The goal is to become a slightly stronger, slightly wiser, slightly more disciplined version of yourself every single day. Because when you dedicate yourself to continuous improvement, success stops being something you chase. It becomes something you naturally attract. But improving yourself is only half of the journey. Sooner or later, life will test everything you have learned, and in those moments, your greatest enemy will not be failure, it will be comfort. Chapter 4 begins. Chapter 4. The enemy isn't failure, it's comfort. There is a silent trap that has stolen more dreams than failure ever could. It doesn't arrive with fear. It doesn't announce itself with pain. In fact, it often feels safe. Comfort. At first, comfort seems harmless. Sleeping a little longer, postponing one important task, choosing entertainment over learning, telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. None of these decisions seem dangerous on their own, but comfort has a unique way of growing. What begins as a small exception slowly becomes a habit. And before you realize it, your habits begin shaping your future. Imagine a boat resting peacefully in a quiet harbor. It is protected from storms. It is safe. Nothing threatens it. But ask yourself one question. Was the boat built to remain in the harbor forever? Of course not. Its true purpose is discovered only when it leaves the shore. Human potential works exactly the same way. You don't discover your strength by avoiding difficulty. You discover it by facing challenges that demand more from you than yesterday. This is one of the greatest lessons hidden within Japanese discipline. Growth and comfort cannot exist in the same place for very long. Every meaningful achievement requires stepping into uncertainty. Think back to a moment when you learned something that once frightened you. Maybe it was speaking in front of people, starting a new job, learning a new skill, or making a difficult decision. At first, everything felt uncomfortable. Your mind filled with doubt. Your heart beat faster. You questioned whether you were capable. But something remarkable happened. The more you faced that discomfort, the smaller it became. Eventually, what once terrified you became normal. That is how confidence is truly built. not by avoiding fear, but by walking through it. Most people wait until they feel ready, but readiness rarely comes first. Action creates readiness. Experience creates confidence. Progress creates belief. Imagine a blacksmith forging a piece of steel. The metal must enter intense heat. Then it is struck again and again. To an outside observer, it may appear as if the steel is being destroyed. But the blacksmith knows the truth. The fire is not ruining the steel. It is strengthening it. Life often works the same way. The difficult seasons you wish would disappear may actually be preparing you for responsibilities you are not yet ready to carry. Every challenge teaches something. Every setback reveals something. Every obstacle asks one important question. Will you retreat into comfort or grow through discomfort? People often admire those who achieve extraordinary things, but they rarely admire the countless uncomfortable choices made behind the scenes. The early mornings, the repeated practice, the failures no one applauded, the lonely hours of preparation, the decision to continue when quitting would have been easier. Success is rarely created in moments of comfort. It is built in moments when discipline becomes stronger than excuses. So the next time life presents you with a difficult choice, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, am I choosing what is comfortable or what will help me grow? Because the answer to that single question may determine the direction of your entire future. Remember, comfort gives you peace for a moment. Discipline gives you freedom for a lifetime. But even after you leave your comfort zone, there is one challenge that follows every person. It lives inside your own mind. And unless you learn to master it, no external success will ever feel enough. Chapter 5 begins. Chapter 5. The hardest battle is the one inside your mind. There is an old belief that your greatest enemy lives somewhere outside you. A difficult boss, a lack of money, bad luck, unfair circumstances, or people who refuse to believe in your dreams. But the Japanese philosophy of discipline quietly teaches something different. Before you can master your career, you must learn to master your own mind. Because no external obstacle is more powerful than the voice that constantly whispers, "You're not ready. You're not good enough. Maybe you should wait." That voice has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. The strange part is, it doesn't sound like an enemy. It sounds like reason. It convinces you that you're being careful, that you're simply waiting for the perfect moment. But perfection never arrives. And while you're waiting, life quietly moves forward without you. Imagine a skilled archer standing before a target. The wind is calm. The bow is ready. The arrow is perfectly balanced. Everything is prepared. But instead of releasing the arrow, the archer keeps thinking, what if I miss? What if people laugh? What if I'm not ready? Minutes pass. Nothing changes. Not because the target was impossible, but because doubt became stronger than action. Now imagine another archer. He feels the same fear, the same uncertainty, the same pressure. But he understands one important truth. The only way to improve his aim is to release the arrow. Maybe the first shot misses. The second lands closer. The third is better. And after enough practice, what once felt impossible becomes natural. Life works the same way. You cannot think your way into confidence. You must act your way into confidence. Every small action teaches your mind something powerful. I survived. I learned. I can do this again. This is why disciplined people don't wait for fear to disappear. They simply refuse to let fear make their decisions. Think about the strongest people you've ever admired. Were they fearless? Probably not. They simply learned to keep moving despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing your purpose over your fear. There will always be reasons to delay, to hesitate, to overthink. Your mind will always try to protect you from discomfort. But remember, the same mind that tries to keep you safe can also keep you small. That is why awareness is so important. The next time a negative thought enters your mind, don't immediately believe it. Question it. Ask yourself, is this a fact, or is this only my fear speaking? That single question can change everything. Most limits are created twice. First, inside the mind, then in reality. Break the mental limit, and the external limit often begins to disappear. Every successful person reaches a moment when they stop arguing with their doubts. Instead of trying to silence every fearful thought, they simply keep walking, step after step, day after day. Eventually, their actions become louder than their doubts. And that is the moment real confidence begins. So remember this: your future is not waiting for a perfect version of you. It is waiting for the version of you that is willing to begin today. Because the strongest mind is not the one that never experiences fear. It is the one that refuses to surrender to it. But once you learn to master your own mind, another question appears. How do you keep moving forward when no one is watching, no one is cheering, and no one even believes in you? That is where the next Japanese principle reveals its greatest lesson. Chapter 6 begins. Chapter 6. Keep going. Even when no one is watching. There is a moment in every meaningful journey when the excitement disappears. The beginning is always inspiring. You buy a new notebook. You make a new plan. You promise yourself that this time will be different. For a few days, everything feels possible. You wake up early. You stay focused. You believe you've finally changed. But then something happens. No one notices your effort. No one praises your discipline. No one applauds your consistency. And slowly, a question begins to appear inside your mind. Is any of this even worth it? This is the moment where most people stop. Not because they lack ability, not because they lack intelligence, but because they expected immediate recognition. The Japanese discipline code teaches something completely different. The most important work is the work that no one sees. Imagine a master carpenter building a traditional wooden house. Before anyone admires the beautiful walls, before anyone notices the elegant roof, he spends weeks creating a foundation that will remain hidden forever. Visitors never compliment the foundation. They don't even know it exists. Yet without it, everything else would eventually collapse. Your character is exactly like that foundation. The habits you build in private, the promises you keep when no one is watching, the discipline you practice without applause. These become the invisible structure that supports your future success. Think about an Olympic athlete. People celebrate the medal. They admire the victory. They remember the moment on television. But they never see the thousands of mornings when the athlete woke up before sunrise. They never witness the exhausting training sessions, the lonely evenings, the injuries, the failures, the moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. Success is always visible. Preparation rarely is. That is why discipline is often misunderstood. Many people believe discipline is something you perform for others. Real discipline is something you practice for yourself. It is keeping your word even when breaking it would be easy. It is choosing growth even when comfort is calling your name. It is doing the right thing, even when no one would ever know if you didn't. Ask yourself this question: who are you when nobody is watching? Because eventually, that private version of yourself becomes the public version everyone else sees. The confidence people admire was built in private. The knowledge people respect was earned in private. The success people celebrate was created in private. This is why comparison is such a dangerous habit. You are comparing someone else's public success with your private struggle. You see their achievements, but you never see the years they spent building them. So stop measuring your beginning against someone else's middle. Focus on your own path. Focus on today's work. Every page you read, every skill you practice, every promise you keep is another investment in a future that has not yet arrived. There will be days when you feel invisible, days when progress feels painfully slow, days when you question whether your efforts matter. On those days, remember the bamboo tree. For years, its greatest growth happens beneath the surface. The world sees nothing, but the roots continue growing stronger. Then one day, the growth becomes impossible to ignore. Your life follows the same principle. Never assume that nothing is happening simply because nothing is visible. Growth often works in silence. Character develops in silence. Discipline grows in silence. And one day, the results speak so loudly that explanations are no longer necessary. So keep showing up, keep learning, keep improving. Not because someone is watching, but because the person you are becoming is worth every quiet sacrifice. One day, people will call you lucky. They will admire your success. They will wonder how everything seemed to happen so naturally. Smile, because you will know the truth. It was never luck. It was the countless ordinary days when you chose discipline over excuses, purpose over comfort, and progress over perfection. But there is one final lesson in the Japanese discipline code, a lesson that ties every principle together. It is the difference between living an ordinary life and living a life of lasting meaning. Chapter 7 begins. Chapter 7, the final code. Live with purpose, not just routine. There is one final lesson hidden beneath every great achievement. It is not discipline alone. It is not hard work. It is not intelligence. It is purpose. Because discipline without purpose eventually becomes exhaustion. But discipline guided by purpose becomes a source of endless strength. Imagine two people carrying the same heavy stone. The first person believes it is meaningless. Every step feels painful. Every minute feels longer. Every challenge feels unfair. The second person carries the same weight. But they know they are building the foundation of their future home. The weight has not changed. Only the meaning has. And meaning changes everything. This is why some people continue moving forward through difficulties that would make others quit. They are not stronger because life is easier. They are stronger because they know why they are walking. The Japanese way of discipline has never been about working endlessly. It has always been about living intentionally. Every action should move you closer to the person you want to become. Before beginning any task, ask yourself one simple question. Does this move me toward my future or away from it? That single question has the power to transform your decisions. Many people spend years climbing a ladder, only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. They chased money without peace, success without health, recognition without fulfillment. They reached the top, yet still felt empty. Because achievement without purpose can never satisfy the human heart. Purpose is what gives discipline direction. Without direction, even hard work becomes wasted effort. Imagine a skilled archer standing with the finest bow ever created. If there is no target, every arrow is meaningless. Your effort is the arrow. Your purpose is the target. One without the other is incomplete. This is why you must protect your purpose every single day. The world is full of distractions, endless notifications, endless comparisons, endless opinions telling you who you should become. If you listen to every voice, you will eventually lose your own. Learn to spend time in silence, not because silence is empty, but because silence allows you to hear yourself again. Some of the greatest decisions in life are not made in moments of noise. They are made in moments of quiet reflection. Ask yourself, who do I want to become 5 years from today? Not what do I want to own, not how famous do I want to be, but who do I want to become? A person of integrity, a person others can trust, a calm leader during difficult times, a parent who inspires, a creator who leaves something meaningful behind. Once your identity becomes clear, your daily decisions become easier, because every choice either strengthens that identity or weakens it. Never allow temporary pleasure to steal a permanent dream. The strongest people are not those who never feel temptation. They are those who remember their purpose when temptation appears. Life will continue testing you. Some days will bring success. Others will bring disappointment. There will be victories you celebrate and failures you wish to forget. Accept both with humility. Neither success nor failure lasts forever. What remains is your character, and character is built through the choices you make when no one is forcing you. Years from now, people may admire what you achieved. They may praise your discipline. They may call you successful. But the greatest reward will never be their words. It will be the quiet satisfaction of knowing you became the person you once promised yourself you would become. That is true victory. Not living someone else's dream, but living your own with honesty, courage, and purpose. As this journey comes to an end, remember one final truth. The Japanese discipline code is not a secret hidden inside ancient books. It is written in ordinary actions, in waking up when you said you would, in keeping promises to yourself, in choosing progress over excuses, in becoming 1% better than yesterday, day after day, month after month, year after year. Because extraordinary lives are never created by extraordinary moments alone. They are created by ordinary people who refuse to stop improving. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, do not search for motivation. Do not wait for the perfect opportunity. Simply take the first step, then the second, then another. Because every great journey begins the same way. Not with a giant leap, but with one disciplined decision. And perhaps 30 days from now, you won't just have better habits, you'll have a stronger mind, a calmer heart, a clearer purpose, and a completely different life. The code has always been simple. Live with discipline, grow with patience, and let your actions become the loudest proof of who you are. Final reflection. The 30th day is not the finish line. Imagine that 30 days have passed. You wake up one morning. The alarm rings. But this time, you don't negotiate with yourself. You simply get up. Not because it has become easy, but because it has become part of who you are. That is the greatest reward of discipline. It doesn't just change your schedule, it changes your identity. Most people spend their lives chasing results. Very few spend their lives becoming the kind of person who naturally creates those results. And that is the real lesson. A disciplined life is not measured by how many goals you achieve. It is measured by the person you become while pursuing them. There will still be difficult mornings. There will still be setbacks. There will still be moments when progress feels invisible. Don't let those moments convince you that you're failing. Every meaningful transformation happens quietly before it becomes obvious. A tree does not become strong because of one day of sunshine. It becomes strong because it survives every season. Your character is built the same way. The days when you feel inspired will help you begin. The days when you feel tired, but continue anyway, will define who you become. So don't wait for another Monday. Don't wait for another month. And don't wait for another version of yourself. The best time to build discipline has always been today. Because one small decision, repeated long enough, can completely rewrite the story of your life.